Following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Above Talladega Super Speedway here in Talladega, Alabama, and my microphone falls over. Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to those of you watching on YouTube and iRacing Live. This is the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series, round 25, from the biggest track on the NASCAR circuit here on LSRTV, your home for sim racing. My name is Cisco Scaramouza. Alongside me is Michael Guerrilla here to bring you all the action, and we're hoping at some point Austin Coop will revive and come back from the dead. We'll just have to see if that's going to be possible. Not sure where he is, but we'll hopefully find out here fairly shortly. But Mike, coming into tonight, we are one race into this round of 3 races, and point standings already shaken up as we take a look at them right now. Set the Merchant ahead right now, and then it's basically 1 back to Bobby Terrell, 2 back to Scott Simley, 3 back to Jamie Walker, Christian Peterson, and Scott Formosa, and then 9 back to Michael Atkins Jr., Justin Michaels, and Tim Matthews. Those 2 are going to have a very, very good points day in order to get out of here in Talladega with a shot to move on to the next round.
Indeed they are. Tim Matthews and Justin Michael both are got the bounce back after a very tough week last week at Dover. Looking to bounce back at a very, very tricky track, especially in Talladega. It's basically a wild card race, this middle race right here for the second round of cuts in the playoffs for the USR Sim Racing Series. So it's just a matter of playing your cards right tonight, especially if you're Justin Michael, Tim Matthews. You want to be up in the front trying to avoid everything. But if you're Seth the Merchant, Bobby Terrell, Scott Simley, you guys want to ride it out, try and stay in line, try and stay out of the carnage, and wait to the end. Make sure you make it to the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And the draft package in these trucks, probably one of the, if not the most potent car on iRacing right now. These trucks love to push, and they love to be in big packs here, and that's going to make the racing very tense and a little bit different than what we saw on Friday night with the Cup cars, because those cars, it's a lot harder to move into the draft and actually get runs. But here at Talladega, the trucks, you could basically just sit on the back end and push.
Yeah, the suck up in these trucks is incredible compared to the B and A car on the sim, and it's just the closing rate is incredible once you get the run, especially if you take that left front of your truck. If you're behind somebody, if you take that out to the left side, just on the outside quarter panel, you'll get all the air off the front of the car in front of you. You get such a great run. So be seeing a lot of slingshots tonight and a lot of closing rates closing up, maybe leading to some accidents.
Yeah, absolutely. About 20 seconds left here in the qualifying session before these guys head to the track for 94 laps. Here it is, very much like a Super Speedway Cup night here, 94 laps at Talladega Super Speedway. We'll take a look at the track facts right now. Of course, 2.66 miles, one of the largest tracks on the NASCAR schedule. 33 degrees of banking in the turns, and the pit road speed. These guys going to have to woe these trucks down from about 190 to 200 miles an hour to 60. They hope to make it onto pit road without speeding. But the countdown's at 0. Qualifying time has ended, and we're going to head down to your LSRTV starting grid and find out who starts where here from Talladega.
Starting on pole tonight, Tommy Ryan will be your pole sitter at a 54.012, followed by Tim Matthews at a 54, looking strong tonight as he set that car right on the 2nd spot to bounce back after a rough week at Dover. Dwight Beverly is going to be 3rd in the 01, Randy Yoakum 4th, Bob Gillenwater 5th, Jeff Ryan is going to be 6th, Michael Atkins Jr. 7th, Chris Cabot 8th, Christian Peterson, a strong contender for the championships, in 9th. Scott Formosa is going to round out your top 10.
Then 11th is going to be Justin Michael. 12th place starter going to be Seth the Merchant. 13th starter, Bobby Terrell. Starting 14th going to be Randy Tessar. 15th to Scott Simley. Kyle Manger going to start 16th. 17th to Aaron Bennett. 18th to Dwayne Dunn. 19th going to go to John Jenkins. And Greg Mull rounds out your top 20.
Right out the rest of the field right here. 21st through 28th is as follows. George Hendricks in the 34th will be 21st. Rich Jett, 22nd. Ralph Vandervoort in 23rd. Matt Mara, 24th. Michael Warren, 25th. Jamie Walker, 26th. John Wilco, 27th. And Steve Herring, 28th. Only 11 drivers taking a time in qualifying today.
Yeah, a lot of these guys going to start from the back here at Talladega, but it looks like everybody has hit the grid at this point, so we're going to get ready to roll here on the parade lap from Talladega. And storylines to keep in mind, of course, like we said, the two drivers on the outside coming into tonight who need to rebound, Tim Matthews and Justin Michael. Well, Tim Matthews is doing it for about one of the best places in the house to do it, the outside pole, so that's going to be great for him. And as for Justin Michael, going to be starting about mid-pack. You see the 87.511 clothing car right there to the inside of the 57 of Seth the Merchant. So Michael going to have to come from about mid-pack and stay out of the wars, but Tim Matthews starting exactly where he needs to here as we begin to roll off here from Talladega in a moment.
And one thing I also want to mention out here is this could be the race where we see the spoiler come into the top 10 and maybe you're still far away from the playoff contenders. This, like we said earlier, it's one of the wild card races on the schedule, especially in these playoffs, being the middle race on the second round of cutoffs. So you can easily see like a Tommy Ryan, Dwight Beverly, Randy Yoakum, Bob Gilliland, or anyone up here in the top 10 who's out of contention in the playoffs easily be up here and fighting for the win.
Absolutely. We paced through 1 and 2 this time, Michael, and of course coverage of the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing sponsor of LSRTV. Whether you spend your time on the track, behind the wheel, on the top of the pit box, or in the spotter stand, JRT is your go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. You can get yourself a basic download today by going to joel-real-timing.com, or you can shell out for the pro version, which gives you all sorts of extra tools to help tell you what you need to know on track. That's joel-real-timing.com. As we pace down the Alabama Gang super stretch here, it's going to be Tommy Ryan, that number 6 car. If we remember all the way back to Daytona for the Full Throttle Real Sim Racing Cup Series, remember he started on the pole in that race here, so definitely Michael is showing his plate racing pedigree here as of late.
Yeah, and Tommy Ryan's been really strong. He's also qualified well even when we went to Daytona in the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Series. So Tommy Ryan really knows his way around the super speedway, especially in Talladega, as he showed tonight. He sat on the front pole as they're coming through 3 and 4 right now. So be interested to see if Tommy Ryan can still work the lines, maybe keep his way up into the front and be a contender for the win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at, I think one of the dark horses tonight could be Jeff Ryan. Always seems to have a good day on the plate tracks. Not so much everywhere else we've gone. Jeff Ryan has kind of had some issues during that, but has always found a home here in the plate tracks and been able to get it done here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that number 10 truck. But the pace car going to head in, and of course the start-finish line 1,000 feet further from the center of the tri-oval. Of course, got to sell those seats just past the exit of pit road. But we thank you here for joining us here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. It's the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series going to get set to go green from Talladega. Loud pedal is on. We're racing.
Yeah, and Tommy Ryan gets a good jump as they head off into turn 1. He's be side by side with Tim Matthews on the outside. Looks as though Tim's going to have a lot of help on the outside from the 8 of Randy Yoakum. Tommy Ryan has no help really right now on the inside of the old one. Dwight Beverly's just got a little bit of gap to him, but still no momentum as they're still side by side. So still that bottom is going to be prevailing right here on the restarts. But now the 54 you see, he's going to get that run going down the backstretch. He's going to now clear the 6, and will he be able to bring the 8 of Randy Yoakum along with him as well as they head off into 3?
Yeah, and into turn 3 now, and the 54 going to try, and no, that got very close. Randy Yoakum tried to follow Tim Matthews down the bottom side, was not clear at all, and nearly put Tommy Ryan into the apron and possibly worse. So it got very sketchy there, and Tommy Ryan not going to be a happy camper, not able to lead the first lap at Talladega. It's going to be Tim Matthews and Randy Yoakum to the point here at Dega.
And they are going to come by the pit lap one right there. You said Tim Matthews, your leader. They're looking 3 wide behind them for that 3rd spot. Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, and Chris Cabot looking to the outside. Looks as though Chris Cabot's to lose out as he has no help on that very high side. So Jeff Ryan, the Ryans are going to be starting on the outside of each other right here for that 3rd spot. On the outside, Jeff Ryan has a run with Michael Atkins Jr. They have a huge push coming down the backstretch. He's even come alongside the 54 Tim Matthews. Will Jeff Ryan be able to do anything on the outside? I know right now it's 2v3, but that usually means the 3 is going to be prevailing on the bottom, especially because it's the shortest way around the track, and it does right now as Tim Matthews is going to take that top spot back away from Jeff Ryan as they head out of 3 and 4 for the second time tonight.
Yeah, and Michael Atkins Jr. certainly one of the more aggressive drivers in this series, and trying to show that here. He's probably going to be one of the best pushers on the racetrack tonight, so the number 2 Mountain Dew entry will have to keep an eye on him all race long, and see who he's going to work with here right now. Early on, it's going to be Jeff Ryan. Chris Cabot kind of hanging on to the edge of this, as is Tommy Ryan, and it's about 7 trucks or so that have broken away, and then back to Bob Gillenwater, the number 4 truck, and behind him Priester and Tessa are there, and then back to Scott Formoso, who you see kind of out in no man's land, and then this second pack here being led by Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, this second pack is mostly pouring up off your playoff contenders. I'm looking around, seeing back here, especially in the very back of the pack. Got Seth the Merchant, Christian Peterson, Kyle Manger, all the very back right here. But also Jamie Walker is stuck in there as well as John Jenkins. So a lot of these guys who are up at the playoffs are just kind of hanging around right now, trying to wait out the rest of the race. They're mostly single file here in the back. They just kind of want to stay away from this front pack, because now the back half of the top 10 has come to the main pack. So now make it just over 10 car field. I think it's 11 right now. So yeah, they're just trying to stay out of the danger right now, trying to ride it out, wait for the first pit stop to come down.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff Ryan up to the top side right now, trying to get the overpass on Matthews, and the 8 of Randy Yoakum on the bottom side. Head to turn 3 right now, and still nothing going right now for Jeff Ryan, so he'll stay up on the top side as we roll through turns 3 and 4, and that kind of group that had kind of fallen off hasn't been able to do a whole lot. You see the 64 of Priester has been able to get up there, and the 69 of Randy Tessa are trying to hold on here, and Formosa's been trying to get something happening, but only truck working with him at the moment. It's that 4 Bob Gillenwater, as they still manage side by side here in your lead pack.
And if you're Scott Formosa, you want to keep up with that front pack for the most part. I mean, looking back at the back half of the field, the guys are trying to stay away from everything. They're almost 2.5 to, well, second half, sorry, to 2 seconds back off the lead. So if you lose too much time, this is going to be a disadvantage for you, especially when it comes to pit stops, because you won't be able to be on sync with most of the field. So yeah, yes, it is an okay strategy to go to the back and wait out the wrecks. But right now out front, it's really calm for the most part. So it just might not work out for those going to the back, as it might come back to bite them, especially for pit stops, especially trying to get around with your teammates trying to get to pit road.
Yeah, Ryan's got a decent run on the outside right now. Might be able to steal away a lap lead. He will at the start-finish line. So Jeff Ryan is getting a lot of help from Chris Cabot. Will just clear Tim Matthews there and drop down to lead the inside line. And now it's going to be the Rainbow DuPont Chevrolet up on the top side. Chris Cabot leading those guys. Michael Atkins Jr. with the assist. Also, Michael Priester up there.
Yeah, let's look at outside lanes. We have a lot of success up there. We all thought the bottom was going to be the way to go right here in the start. Looks as though the outside's got a really nice momentum, especially at the corners, as you see Chris Cabot looking for that lead on the outside of Jeff Ryan. Now it's just a 3v3 battle on the front right now, especially with the 6. Tom Ryan just kind of hanging around looking for a spot to go. But this side by side with the 10 of Jeff Ryan and Chris Cabot as they come around to complete lap 6 this time by.
Yeah, and one thing to note here tonight, one driver not active, Aaron Bennett, having issues tonight with his internet, not going to be able to run. You see he right now is 6 laps down, trying to make his way back into the server, and that's going to absolutely punish his chances of making it into the playoffs going into the next round. Actually, no, I'd say that. He wasn't in the playoffs battle, so never mind. But as it sits right now, we know Bennett was going to want to come and run here at Talladega. Michael, anybody can win here, and unfortunately for him, he's going to be kind of out of the running early on here. The number 3 truck not on track.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Aaron Bennett. He always likes running these plate tracks, so yeah, it's tough to see him go out like that just so early, and he hasn't even put a lap down yet. So yeah, just a tough thing for that to happen. Anyone can really win, and especially Aaron, who's really strong on these tracks, like we said. So yeah. But Chris Cabot going back to the outside of Jeff Ryan for lead right now. Michael Atkins Jr. has been the pusher that everyone wants to be ahead of. Looks as though Michael Atkins Jr. is almost going to get Chris Cabot clear on as they're going through 1 to 2 right now, but nothing doing there. So the 10's going to fall back even up with the 5 for the lead.
Yeah, and Gabot just hasn't. It's kind of happening in stages here, Michael. You get a good run off the corner, and that gets you alongside the truck. You get another good run off the corner, and might pull you just a nose ahead. And no, they're going to go 3 wide here. I think the 2 was starting to get a little bit hot, pushing the 5. Chris Gabot wasn't able to get air, so Michael Atkins Jr. going to hop to the top side, and it could be Earnhardt sucker hole time for Chris Gabot as he's stuck in the middle, 3 wide.
Yeah, and Gabot is still stuck in that middle. Looks as though he might find a spot right there behind the 8. And looks as though the 54 Tim Matthews is going to go on the outside of Jeff Ryan, trying to make a move on the outside, but he got no help there. But now Chris Gabot is trying to decide on what line to go to. He's going to try to go back down to the bottom. So now the 54 Tim Matthews gets shuffled out from the second place. So Jeff Ryan is still your leader, but now the 3 wide for that second spot. Michael Atkins Jr. still in that high line just on the inside of him. It's going to be Tim Matthews at the 54 and Ray Yoakum in the 8. So a lot of 3 wide action right here. Started after having a calm first few laps. But now Michael Atkins Jr. is going to have a great run. He's getting a push from, I believe that's the 64, Michael Priester on the outside. They're both going to clear, almost clear. Michael Atkins Jr. is clear all the way down, and we'll take the lead, but he left the 64, Michael Priester up on the high side. So tough break for him. But Michael Atkins Jr. finally got to lead right there after pushing all the other guys up to the front.
Yeah, and very interesting kind of miscommunication that all happened, but it all worked out, and Tim Matthews was basically saved there by Chris Gabot, who was kind of helping him out, and now sits on the back bumper of the 54 Tundra, and is going to push Tim Matthews past Atkins Jr. here, just not quite clear enough to drop to the inside, but could see it here out of that driver of the 54, and as it sits, a very good kind of karma going for Chris Gabot right now, coming to the 8 of the 54, and very good pushing truck it's looking right now early on here, Mike. Not maybe the best. I'm still looking at that 2 truck for that, but they're able, both of those trucks able to clear Michael Atkins Jr. and Atkins Jr. trapped behind more trucks here, so the run to the outside for clean air didn't quite work for him.
Yeah, no, it did not, but now Chris Gabot will lead that outside lane up to the front. Oh, we almost had a little stack up right there, too. Michael Atkins Jr. got pushed up into the 54 by the 10 of Jeff Ryan as they got set up on the bottom because of Saul no checkup. So that's the bottom line strode out. So now the 5 of Chris Gabot is going to be able to take the lead right here and almost to the 54 going through the exit of 2 right now. But now the 2, Michael Atkins Jr. is going to get back to the bumper of the 54, Tim Matthews pushed into the front. So Chris Gabot has been able to lead a lot of guys to the front, but now Michael Atkins Jr. has been the pusher. But you see him weaving around on the back stretch, so this is him getting hot. We talk about how good this aero package is, but on the other hand, the truck gets really, really hot if you keep pushing. And now, just looking at the back half of this front pack, Jamie Walker's leading to push on the outside of that 3rd lane.
Yeah, well, everybody was battling up in the front pack. We had that miscommunication, brought everybody back into play, and now we have one kind of splintered main pack here. And like you said, Jamie Walker, 88 Mountain Dew Chevrolet up on the top side. Scott Formosa up there as well, and Bob Gillenwater trying to come help as well. As they're three by 1 right now, because it's only Jamie Walker up there side by side with some trucks, but Formosa trying to go 3 by 2 here as we come through 1 and 2 this time. And the problem with Walker and Formosa, it's a decent idea going to the outside, but they only have 2 trucks up there. They're not going to be able to get a whole lot done.
Yeah, and also looking behind them, Bob Gillenwater wants a piece of it, but I don't know if he'll be able to get up to the back of that. So like you said, there's not a lot of momentum up there, so they're better off going towards the middle lane, but they're not going to do that right now as they're still up on that high side. The small checker from the inside lane is going to bring them back up to the outside lane to even them up just a little bit, but now the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. will be prevailing in the lead, as now the 88 is kind of giving up on that fight for the outside lane. Now Scott Formosa will go around him and try to stay with the front pack. So Jim Walker, valiant effort to get back up towards the front. Looks as though he's just going to come back to the back and kind of hang around once again just behind the 69 of Randy Tesser.
And what this has actually done is allowed 2 teammates to get together. You see the 01 of Dwight Beverly has dropped in behind his teammate of Tommy Ryan. It's easy to tell their teammates because they got basically the same paint scheme, so they're going to be working together a little bit here. And those 2 trucks making up the last 2 on the outside line. Priester and the 5 of Gabot up there at the moment. And it got a little bit tight there as the number 10 truck got the apron just a tad. It shot the truck up the track just a little bit. He's able to hold on to it, at least for the moment here, as we thunder through 3 and 4 this time. And starting to think about fuel mileage here. I mean, generally we see the Super Speedway Cup guys come down at about lap 21 or so, lap 22. So probably going to be, actually no, we're at Talladega, so probably 19, 18, 19. So probably starting to think about that just a little bit here Michael.
the pit strategy is going to be key, and I especially watched them earlier today during practice, doing the pit practice, and they are having a hard time coming down the pit road. A few guys overshot the pit road here and there, but most of them very big down for the most part, but there were a few trucks who just kept going wide on entrance. So being able to slow it down from just under 200 miles an hour down to 60 miles an hour to pit road speed is really difficult here. So being able to not lock the brakes and be able to not run over people is really important, especially when you come out turn 4. You really have to know who's around you and who's to be pitting and who's not.
But to the point right now, it's Michael Atkins Jr., and that truck has been one of the best pushers so far, but is leading at the moment, doing an excellent job with help from Tim Matthews in the 54, almost even at the line, but Atkins going to squeak out and grab that lap as well. It's his 5th lead lap of the day, and continues to lead the bottom side here. Jeff Ryan down on the bottom side, and up on the top side, still those only 4 trucks, but they're managing to hang tough, mainly because the inside line only has about 4 trucks of their own kind of together, and you see the 91 of John Jenkins kind of off the back end of that bottom side, trying to stay with them, and then after that, it's a huge gap behind to what looks like the 80 of Scott Formosa and the 4 of Bob Gillenwater, as well Jamie Walker back there as well.
Yeah, and those guys, like we said earlier, are trying to wait around, getting that gap back to the field, trying to make sure nothing happens in front of them. But yeah, it looks as though just kind of just settling around right now. They got a little chippy right there past 5 laps or so, but now they're trying to settle it out. But as soon as I say that, though, Jeff Ryan in the 10 trying to feed to the outside of the 54 Tim Matthews to make a little gap right there, but nothing doing there. So yeah, just kind of settling out, just trying to wait till the pit stops come around and then trying to make their move, especially when we look back towards the back half of the field. They're really single filed out back here, all the way back to the teammates of Seth the Merchant, Chris Creed Peterson, and Kyle Manger, but they're really in danger of losing the back half of this field and maybe even lose the draft as they head off into 3.
Yeah, but they're staying together, so the 3 teammates, and keep in mind, we see it in Super Speedway Cup all the time here, Michael, the fact that you don't necessarily need to be in the front pack when you come down pit road. You just have to stay together, and those three teammates all sticking together right now. I think that's their strategy. Make up spots on pit road. Of course, all 3 of these drivers well versed in Super Speedway Cup racing because they've raced in that series in the past, so they know these plate tracks very well. You got to think the strategy call for them is going to be stick together, make up spots on pit road. So that gaggle of about 9 trucks that were starting to pull away, well, that's gone because Jamie Walker, as well as the 12 of Greg Mall, the 80 of Scott Formosa, have all drafted their way back up to the front pack, and all of a sudden the pack is back to about one big group that's a little bit fractured, and Jamie Walker going to go the outside again, but this time with no help. So Walker's trying to make the outside line work, just nobody's going with him.
I would not be one bit surprised if later in this race Walker gets some help and is able to go around the outside of these guys and be able to make something happen, because it looks as though he really wants to use that outside lane. No one else is really going up there at the moment unless they're getting forced 3 wide in the middle. So yeah, look to see the 88 Jamie Walker use the outside lane. But one other car I want to look out for is the 12 Greg Mall. He's always been strong, and he also had a great run going at Daytona. He was about top 5, top 10 the entire time for most of the race until he got caught up in the late accident there. So Greg Mall is also a really good plate driver, so you have to watch out for him as well. And working with Jamie Walker, that could be a deadly pairing right there, as they might get to the front sooner rather than later.
Yeah, 2 Young Gun Motorsports drivers drafting together are always a threat here, and if they get some more help, certainly will be potent up on that top side. But the teammates have gotten splitting up a little bit. Tommy Ryan, the 6th truck, in 6th, and then Dwight Beverly through the side-by-side action running 10th right now. Has got about 1 truck separating him from his teammate, but it's that 80 Randy Yoakum here. So these drivers are going to come through the tri-oval yet again, and it's going to be a drag race to the line, and just Gavo by a fender there, and he's going to get his 5th lead lap of the day, just edging out Michael Atkins Jr. as they head back to 1 and 2.
Yeah, Michael Atkins Jr. immediately takes that spot back away from Chris Cabot. Even the 54 of Tim Matthews might be able to clear the 5 of Chris Cabot as they head down the backstretch, but maybe not now. The 64 of Michael Priester is helping push that 5 Chris Cabot back up to the lead, and they have a huge run coming down the backstretch going in towards 3. Chris Cabot might even clear the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr., but nothing doing right there, so they're going to stay side by side, door to door as they head through 3 and 4. And of course, Talladega, the Jeff Gordon paint schemes are up front, running really strong.
Yes, they are, and Mountain Dew as well up there, and some trucks coming down pit road right now, almost right on cue from what I said. Lap number 19, 3 trucks coming down. It's the 10 of Jeff Ryan, the 6 of Tommy Ryan, and the 8 of Randy Yoakum. So those 3 going to come down pit road and get service and fuel to their trucks. So first pit stop's happening now. Might be about that time coming up here.
Yeah, and also got maybe a little bit of damage right there for the 8 as he tried to get into his box. He almost ran over the 10, who was just pitting a few boxes before him. And so it was little Randy might have a little front end damage, see if he gets anything done with that. But yeah, early pit stop right here on lap 19, trying to get set up for the end. Looks as though the 6 is Tom Ryan's to take fuel only for the most part. Same with Jeff Ryan. And the 8 of Randy Yoakum looks like he may have took tires. But yeah, just a lot of strategy right here. Tires, do you take tires? Do you take just fuel? It depends on basically where you're sitting in the track and how your truck's feeling. Do you a little tight, a little loose? Depends on how the feel is. You also got more trucks coming down the pit road. Looks like the 01 of Dwight Beverly.
And I think that was because he did not get to come down with his teammates last time by. It was the 6, the 10, and the 8, but the 01 was not a part of that. So Beverly going to come down now, and I think he's hoping he can catch his teammates here when he comes on a pit road. But the 01 all alone down pit road at the moment. That could backfire for him here. We'll catch up with him once he comes off pit road and gets back up to speed. But a lot of drivers down on the bottom line now. I'm thinking we're going to see a bunch of them come down pit road this time. Working lap number 21 right now as we head through 3 and 4.
And now this front pack has been brought together once again. Jake Walker's kind of peeking up in there in that top 5 on the inside lane just behind Tim Matthews, who's behind the lead pack right here of Michael Atkins Jr. fighting against Chris Cabot in the lead. Looks to the Michael Priester to look to the outside. Chris Cabot goes a little defensive, swerves at him just a little bit there, so Michael Priester going to get shuffled off the outside. Tough spot for him right there. So Chris Cabot is going to maintain that outside line right there just ahead of Michael Atkins Jr., who's going to be maintaining the lead and the inside line. So once again, just trying to struggle to see that outside line come in. I know Michael Priester got pushed up to the high side, but you saw no one was reluctant to go up there to the top, and no one just wanted to leave him up there. So it's going to be a struggle to see if that outside lane can really come in or not.
Yeah, it will be, and into 3 and 4 this time once again, and more trucks on the bottom side, but they're still not coming down pit road, so it might have been an early call for some of these drivers to try and make the strategy maybe short pit here a little bit, but nope, everybody going to stay out this time. So with that, we'll double check on the other storyline we were talking about. So the 10, 6, and the 8, they're all together here off of pit road. They're actually only about a straightaway or so, half a straightaway away from getting lapped here, but you see the 10, the 6, and the 8, and then just in front of them is Dwight Beverly. So it kind of worked out in the fact that they're all together, but I think Beverly would like to be with those 3 other trucks right now because they're probably going to get split up by the pack when it swallows them up here in about 2 laps or so.
Yeah, and the one benefit that it would have been if they all pitted together like this is if everyone else came down the next few laps, these guys would have already been hooked up together and been able to go past those guys who just came down pit road. But since that's not the case, they're in danger of going a lap down now. We don't know how much longer this front pack is going to stay out, as they're only a few tenths behind. But as soon as I say that, though, Greg Mull's going to come down the pit road, as well as the 88 and the 87, Justin Michael and Jamie Walker coming to pit road.
So looks like a lot of the Young Gun Motorsports drivers coming down pit road. The 88, the 87, the 12. All 3 of those guys are teammates. You got the 34 of George Hendricks, the 4 of Bob Gillenwater, and the 80 of Formosa. So a lot of these trucks coming down this time. Your second group in, and this is, for all intensive purposes, the YGM group coming down pit road. But now you got Michael Atkins Jr., Tim Matthews still out there on the racetrack, waiting to see when those guys hit pit road. Chris Cabot going to drop in as well. They're all single file, so that probably means we will see them down here on pit road in the near future.
Yeah, and coming through 3 and 4 this time as they're going to catch the back half of the field right now with the front group. They just pitted with Tommy Ryan and such with Jeff Ryan as well. And now you see the leaders start coming down. Looks like John Jenkins got left out there, so he's going to be a lone car sitting out there with Rich Jetty as they go through the trial right now, as they go past everyone who just came down pit road. Your leader, Michael Atkins Jr., the 54, Tim Matthews, Chris Cabot, Dwayne Dunn, all these trucks that are still coming down to pit road to get their service for the first time tonight. So once again, if you stay out too long, as we've been seeing all these guys try to pit together, if you stay out by yourself, you will be losing a lot of time by yourself out there, as we see with the I believe that's the 91 of John Jenkins and the 93 of Rich Jet.
So it's about 12 trucks still waiting on to pit here, being led by John Jenkins and, as you mentioned, Rich Jetty. Then you got Randy Tessar, Bobby Terrell, Seth the Merchant. This whole group still has yet to come down pit road. And you can see the 57-23 and the 25 all trying to get together. And yep, here all the rest of them come. John Jenkins going to lead him down pit road. There's the 93 of Jetty. Tessar, and no, that's Peterson. Contact, and around he goes to the entrance of pit road. It all went wrong there for DeMerchant, and the vet just goes straight around. That is huge championship implications.
Yeah, he broke way too late coming into the pit road. He just could not get it well done, and when he did, he just had nowhere to go with Randy Tessar on his outside. So your Dover winner from last week, Seth the Merchant's going to have a tough time coming back through this, and now he'll have a penalty for an unsafe exit of pit road. So he'll have to come back down and serve that penalty if he does not serve it now. So once again, just a tough break for Seth the Merchant, on top of the fact that he also has damage to that 57 machine. So it'll be hard for him to come back, and he didn't even come down the pit road. When he came down just through his box, he didn't even come to his box at all, so he just went right through. So I don't know what the strategy is for 57 or Seth the Merchant, but he just went right by his box when he came down that time.
I think the strategy is pray for a caution. I think at this point for Seth the Merchant's about his only chance. Randy Tessar also got damaged there and decided not to stop in the box, and Scott Simley as well kind of rolled through. And now if we look, there's Tim Matthews, who's the first truck who has pitted. Actually, it's John Jenkins kind of running away from everybody, and he's going to get swallowed up because it's Tim Matthews, Chris Cabot, and Michael Atkins Jr., the three trucks kind of all on their lonesome here that have run away from the pit stops. And then you have the big pack here, and these are the guys who made it the best off pit road. It's Justin Michael, Jamie Walker, Greg Mull, the Young Gun Motorsports drivers. Well, that team wins the proverbial award for best pit road exit here so far, and six-man not doing too bad themselves, with Manger and Peterson also in this group as well. But waiting, and this will cycle us through. So with that, we're going to step aside here for a moment here on LSRTV and go LSRTV nonstop so you don't miss a moment of the action. And watch as Tim Matthews and Chris Cabot, they're going to get swallowed up by the pack here, and it'll all be one big pack here at Talladega. You're watching the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series. Be right back up here on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. back live here at Talladega Superspeedway for the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series. Justin Michael is taking over the lead of this main pack. We saw the team of Gabo and Matthews get swallowed up here, so this is the big pack we have here at the fastest racetrack in NASCAR. Cisco Scaramouza along with Michael Guerrilla to bring you all the action, and just about a third of the way through this race so far, Michael, and so far it's been clean and green for the most part. Got a little bit sketchy with some of the moves, but apart from that, it's been relatively calm out here, all considering.
Yeah, we had a little few first lap mishaps right there at the start, but other than that, we've been very calm for the most part. It was just kind of riding down for the most part. These laps have been clicking off really quickly. I mean, right now we're only about 40 minutes into the race. Right now we're already 30 laps in, so that's a really good pace right now, especially for the super races and how long the laps take to complete a lap around here, especially in the trucks. But yeah, going back to the point of the field right now, 87 Justin Michael is your leader. We didn't really talk about him much the first stint right there, but using that strategy like we talked about with the 88 Jim Walker, the 12 of Greg Mall, and the 34 as well, as it came down all together on pit road, has gotten them up to the lead.
Yeah, it has, and another group that's kind of stayed together. We saw the issues with Seth the Merchant, and he is in this lead pack, but he is laps down. The driver of the 57, 1 lap down at the moment, fighting with the driver right in front of him, Matt Mara, to get back on the lead lap, so we'll keep an eye on those two. And then Ralph Vandervorst is the next truck looking to get lapped here and go 1 lap down. You can see the driver of the 66 coming through 3 and 4 this time, and if you look out, you can't quite see the pack yet, so still got a ways to go before he's going to get caught by the pack, but definitely something to keep note of if you're Seth the Merchant and Matt Mara. But rolling through right now, it's been 2 lanes ever since this pack got reformed, and leading the top side, Jamie Walker. He's been going to the top side without much help anyway, and now actually has some help behind him with that 12 of Greg Maul and the 91 of John Jacobs up there.
Yeah, Jimmy Chilhai gets some help up there, as we've seen him go to the very, very high side, go up to the 3rd lane, try to get some momentum, nothing doing there, but now he's up in that 2nd lane, got teammates behind him, so he'll try to go for that lead against Justin Michael. But one thing I also want to point out is we haven't seen this big of a pack the entire race so far, so we're looking about a pack 1st through 14th as Jim Walker's going for the lead right now as they head through 3, but 1st through 14th, 15th lap cars are strewn through that front pack, but then you got to go all the way back to 15th and 21st, that huge pack right there, about 9 seconds off the field. So just showing how much that short pitting has hurt the 6 a ton ride, and the 01 whatever, that whole group has now led them to 9 seconds off of the main pack.
Yeah, and that is a huge chasm they're going to have to overcome, and probably won't be able to do it without a caution or something happening to the main pack here, but this is about 15th on back, and it's Ryan Beverly, like you said, also the 8 of Yoakum as well, so lots of trucks back here looking for something to happen here to get themselves back to the lead pack here, but for the most part, it's relatively been calm, you know, despite the fact they're running side by side, it's been a relatively calm pack here. And nobody really making too many dicey moves or anything, and just content to ride in 2 lines, at least for the moment, in this main front pack at the moment.
And even up front as well, the runs haven't been even that big, as we've seen earlier in the race, especially with Christian Bell and Mike Hawkins Jr. So, but Jamie Walker is kind of just riding around. I think those two, 87 and 88, the 2 teammates, are trying to just control the race right now that they're at the front of the field, just trying to ride it out and do as much as they can to capitalize on the positions. But all Jamie Walker...
Go ahead.
All Jim Walker has to do is just kind of ride out right here, and he's going to be setting really nice for this last race at Kansas. But Justin Michael has to be up front as he sees his teammate in the 88, Jim Walker, go into a small advantage. He's going to pull down front of him for the lead. But the 87 needs to be up front. He's riding that front for a reason. He needs to get back into the points for the final round of the eliminations in the 2nd round.
As does Tim Matthews as well, the driver of the 54, who... I don't think he's not necessarily like enemies with the 87, but you have to take into account that we're going to drop another 3 drivers here going into Kansas, so you almost have to kind of take the me first attitude here, and well, I guess it would be the 54 versus the 87 at the end of the day, and also we have to consider one other truck going to get dropped out of that group later, and right now on the bubble coming into tonight as we take a look at the point standings. Michael Atkins was on that bubble here. He was about 4 points off of Scott Formosa, so if you're even the 2 truck as well, you've got to be thinking stay at the front, lead, and John Jenkins got a little bit tight going into 3 and 4. That could have been disastrous. No, that was George Hendricks, actually. 2 very close-looking trucks, but they're able to hold on to it there, but that nearly was disastrous here. But getting back to my point, Michael Atkins Jr., Tim Matthews, and Justin Michael right where they need to be, except, of course, they want to be. Oh, there goes the 4.
Bob Gillenwater still spinning to the inside right now. He's got a turn right there by the 2 of Michael Jr. He's going to come up into the field and just barely get everyone going by him. So no hits on the Bob Gillenwater machine. Looks like he's going to get it back going again, but caution is out on the speedway.
That could have been absolutely disastrous, and it was a push going wrong there from the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. Was able to push the 4 of Bob Gillenwater out in front of the rest of the drivers, and a little bit of a shuffle there. The 2 tried to push him and just tagged him in the left rear, and good job by Bob Gillenwater to lock it down and not let that truck come back out on track, because that easily could have come back on track and taken out a whole chunk of your front pack.
Yeah, especially during that last 2 laps right there, the front pack got really antsy right there. People were making dicey moves, especially with a lot of trucks moving around. So I guess that's just a byproduct of that happening right now. But caution's out on lap 39 right here. So it's also going to be a different change in strategy as well. We've seen these guys short pit as well. So, I mean, if you go based off that short pit strategy, they're right on their mark again for that second pit stop. So it's made it work in their favor, but it might throw a wrench if they're thinking about different strategies.
Yeah, and you see the tap right there. Around goes the 4 of Bob Gillenwater, and you can see Justin Michael got out of line as well because he sensed lots of trouble coming. Fortunately for him, it kind of backfired because he lost a bunch of positions, but it kept him out of the wreck, and rest of the trucks are going to catch the pace car right now, and working lap number 39 here, going to be starting lap number 40 here, so we're approaching the halfway point of the race before too long, but everybody's caught back up, and that's a huge saving grace for that pack of Tommy Ryan, Dwight Beverly, etc., who was basically 9 seconds off the lead and in no way, shape, or form able to catch the lead pack at the moment. This basically saved them.
And also don't forget Seth the Merchant as well. It looks as though he will take the wave round as he just got past Matt Maher before the caution came out. So he'll get the wave round, get back in lead lap. So that basically saves his playoff chances. He's not stuck a lap down anymore, so he can fight for the positions he needs to get back in the points after winning at Dover to maintain his lead as they come down to pit road. This time Michael Atkins Jr. is going to get him down.
And you have to think, with Talladega being in the playoffs and has been for a very long while, was even in the chase back then. I mean, this is a wild card track for a reason, and we nearly saw a bunch of the trucks who were in the running for the championship all get taken out, and it's a talking point every time any sort of series comes here. And nope, the pit stop graphic isn't going to work tonight. So unfortunately, that means we'll have to do it by visuals anyway, and the teammates all going to roll through. The 01, 8, 10, and 6 all roll through pit road. They didn't go into their boxes, so interesting call by them. But nonetheless, trucks coming out to pit road here, and it's going to be led by, looks like Rich Jetty, who I believe only took 2 tires. Everybody else took 4, with the exception of maybe Bobby Terrell. Yeah, Bobby Terrell took 2, but apart from that, everybody else taking 4 in fuel. And your top 4 decided to just kind of roll through pit road. Jeff Ryan, Randy Oakham, Dwight Beverly, and Tommy Ryan. So, interesting call for them.
Yeah, very interesting indeed, especially when you look back at when they pitted last. They pitted on lap 18, I believe it is. Was the last time they came down on pit road. So just the way that they strategize the rest of this race, it kind of just sets them up for an odd spot, especially compared to the field. Yes, they are in the lead right now, but looking at the strategy compared to the rest of the field, it's just those 4 that stayed out and ran through pit road. So just looking at that, they're going to have a whole different pit sequence compared to the rest of the field. So they easily have a shot of going a lap down if they don't get the pit road right.
Yeah, they have to get pit road exactly right, but also something to consider, this could be a strategy to just get them out of the lead pack or something along those lines. That's really this call I'm seeing out of this is just, it's almost a call to go on an opposite strategy, just to not be in that front pack and stay away from issues that's happening. I mean, looking through the drivers in the chase, no, Tommy Ryan's not a part of that, neither is Dwight Beverly, nor Randy Yoakum or Jeff Ryan. So you know what this tells me? This is just a play to win the race here, Michael. Stay out of trouble and try an alternate strategy to try and win this thing.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier they try to might be spoilers. Listen to the 6 time Ryan's gonna actually come back down pit road, maybe. Yeah, they're coming back down pit road. So Tommy Ryan, the 01 with White Beverly, Randy Yoakum, Jeff Ryan, all come down pit road. So strategy not. So they're gonna come back.
I don't know.
It's I don't know what they're doing. I guess maybe for the lap letters, I guess, but maybe they wanted to just come around and lead the lap and then come back down and go to the back of the pack.
I guess it was an odd call. Maybe it was they were trying to talk some stuff out, but either way, another truck going down with them is Michael Atkins Jr., which, considering the fact that he's, you know, the last truck, the first truck out of the playoffs right now, I don't know if I necessarily like that call from the fact of I want to be at the front of these things. I don't want to be at the back of the pack because that's where all the issues are. And if I would not want to risk it. I'd want to stay at the front where the trucks I'm racing, at least, you know, the Justin Michaels and the 54 Tim Matthews, they're 7th and 9th right now. I like that position a lot more than I do where Atkins is back in 19th. So a risky call by him, considering that, you know, he's not in full-on trouble mode, but he's in kind of I'd be worrying about where I was mode.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about Michael Atkins, considering the spot he's in right now. But if I'm him, I'd be calling up the whole team right there that just pitted the 01, the 8, the 10, and the 6, I believe, as well. So I'd be talking to them, seeing if he can work on a deal with them, try to work with them since he's already back there. He's going to need as much help as he can to get back up to the front. And where he's at, he's going to need some friends, and that whole team right there could help them.
Yeah, absolutely. But as they run right now, and Rich Jetty has taken over the lead right now, and if Austin was here, he'd be talking about how Rich Jetty, we've kind of followed him all season long, and he's kind of been one of the dark horses in this series, and once again looking to do the same is that driver of the 93, and always has had good runs at the plate tracks as well, as has Jeff Ryan, but kind of same story, second verse for Rich Jetty, and trying to rebound from what has been not quite the season he wanted, but certainly, you know, got into the playoffs, wasn't able to do, you know, as much as he wanted to and got knocked out, but still a decent run this season for the driver of the 93, and I think it would be a whole lot better if he could win here at Talladega.
Yeah, now he actually just came down pit road to relinquish the lead to Greg Mall. So.
And to mess up my point as well.
Yeah, and Greg Mall actually followed him down as well as George Hendricks and Bobby Terrell, and a lot of trucks come down pit road. I don't know what the strategy is with these guys. I don't know if they're trying to one-stop it or not, but they're all over the place with the strategy right now. So now, as we come across the start-finish line right here, Chris Cabot is going to become your new leader, just ahead of Tim Matthews and Scott Formosa as your top 3. So a lot of strategy being played after the first round of pit stops by a lot of these guys who just want to kind of ride it out in the back right now.
So if I'm doing my math right, this would take us to, you know, assuming these guys can go about 21 to 24 laps, let's say 21 just for the sake of argument, that'll take us to 63 and then 84. So we're still 10 laps short. So the short fill, it's helping, but they still have to find 10 laps somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy is right now. We've had a lot of mixed strategies based on different pitting. I'm just looking through the field right now. The 24, Chris Cabot in the 5 was stretched into lap 24. Tim Matthews to lap 24 and 25. Just behind him, Scott Formosa went all the way to 23 as well. So a lot of these trucks went from that 23 to 24 range, but like you said earlier with the 01, the 8, and the 6, that group right there pitted early on like lap 18 or so. So if you're running that kind of window right there, there's not enough time for them to cut out a pit stop. They're going to have to make 2 more stops. So I don't know what the strategy is. Be interested to see who's going to be the king of it and be able to come out on top of this race. But it's definitely going to come down to strategy if there's not another caution to the end of this race.
Yeah, if there's another caution, that should put us in the 2-stop range, more or less. So, and depending on where that caution falls, it could just throw fuel strategy out the window and make it nice and simple for these guys. So we'll just have to see how that all pans out. But right now, your top 10, Chris Cabot, Tim Matthews, Scott Formosa, Michael Warren, Michael Priester, Bob Gillenwater, Michael Atkins Jr., Greg Mall, Bobby Terrell and George Hendricks, your top 10 here as we pace through 3 and 4. And the pace car going to head back to pit road, and we'll get re-greened here in a moment.
Yeah, and it's a weird way of lining up here. I believe one of the first 3 rows or so are lined up double file, then it's a long single file line all the way back to, I believe that's Jeff Bryan and company in the back out the field. The pace car is off, but so even that strategy that we saw Michael Atkins, now he's further in the back of the field, so now he's going to have a hard time getting back, especially with the single file on the restart. But now the lead is in the hands of Chris Cabot, coming out to get the green flag, and green flag's in the air, and Chris Cabot's going to get a good jump right here. Tim Matthews is going to stay alongside him for that second spot.
Oh, somebody spinning in the back. I'm not sure who that was. John Wilco, the 62. That was weird. He was in shot there. Not sure what happened to that driver. We'll have to take a look at the moment, make sure everybody kind of gets started off here, and it looks relatively okay at the front, so we'll wind back the camera and find out what on earth happened to John Wilco.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at it right now. It looks as though they just had a stack up out of nowhere, and Wilco checked up, and John Jenkins just had nowhere to go, and he just kind of ran him over on the restart. So just a tough break right there for John Jenkins, who's got all front end damage, but Wilco has also got a lot of damage as well. I think also Kyle Manger got involved. I believe that's who it is.
No, that's the it's Herring, I believe, the 98.
Okay, so yeah, it's just a lot of accordion right there on the restart as they went back to green.
Yeah, that was a very odd incident there, but we're going to get back going racing here and kind of calm through your pack, but 2 trucks on the outside at the moment trying to make it work. You see the familiar blue and gray of Tim Matthews up there, but now joined by the lime green and white of Michael Warren. First time we've talked about him today, and up on the top side, that driver trying to make it happen. The driver out of Ohio. And up on the top side with Tim Matthews as they roll back to turn number 3, also up there as well. Priester, who's been kind of knocking on the door for a while, he's up here as well as Bob Gillerwater, who went for the spin cycle here to bring out our first caution.
Yeah, Priester and Warren have been kind of surprises up here. They're now up in the top 5, so we just see how they're able to play out the rest of the race. And they're still fighting for that top spot right now. Michael Warren actually kind of gave a little shove right there to Tim Matthews on the backstretch, got them almost to the front, but they didn't quite get there. As you see right there, they're side by side right now. Scott Formosa and Michael Priester. And as soon as I say that, Michael Warren gives Tim Matthews a huge shove as the 80 Scott Formosa is not really pushing Chris Cabot, so that's giving the outside just sort of advantage. And I just kind of weave around a little bit behind the 54. Maybe it's a strategy to keep the engine cool or something like that. But the 54 might take the lead right here as they're going off into 3.
Yeah, 54 has got a great lead as they head towards turns 3 and 4. It's not quite enough to drop down in front of the 5 of Chris Cabot, but he's getting help. Now the 2 of Atkins Jr. going to jump up there, so all of a sudden he's back up in the front of this thing, and it was a kind of goofy stack up that kind of flipped the field here, and you see Justin Michael, the only driver out of the 3 here we've been watching and talking about all night towards kind of the rear end of the playoffs here, who have to have good nights in order to move on. Justin Michael, the furthest back of all 3 of them, and he's the one who needs to be up front the most, I think. And down to the inside goes the 54 and the 9. So those 2 able to clear Cabot here as we head through 1 and 2.
Yeah, those 2 get single file off at the front too. Michael Atkins Jr. still on the outside of Chris Cabot. Those 2 have been battling at the front all night, but now the 2 Michael Atkins Jr. is going to have a lot of help from Jamie Walker in the 88. He's kind of been hanging around that top 10 for the most part for the 88, and now slow he's going to try and push that 2 up to the lead. They're now side by side, unit up for the lead. As the 9 kind of pushes up just a little bit on entry right there, almost over the 88, but that's going to allow the 88 to stay on the back bumper of the 2. The 9's not attached to the 54 right now, but maybe the 88's going to give the run to the 2 off the corner, and they're still shoving each other as they go through the tri-oval.
Yeah, and so the tri-oval we go once again up on the top side, the 5 and the 10 trying to make it work, and looks like Atkins gonna be able to clear just Tim Matthews there as they cross start finish line once again, and it's side by side for the lead continuing to be as Atkins gonna put a nose ahead here. So we roll through 1 and 2 once again, just starting lap number 47, which will take us past halfway here at the moment for Talladega. So in a moment we'll run you through your LSRTV midway race break, but for the moment Michael Atkins Jr. continuing to lead on the bottom side, but a lot of help on the top side for Jamie Walker and friends.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to point out. There's a significantly high amount of cars on the outside compared to the bottom, and I don't know what the case is for that, but because the bottom is really hanging in there compared to the top side, as you saw right there, the 23 Christian Peterson, who's been hanging around the back, is now on that bottom line. He's already gained 2 or 3 spots just riding on the bottom, catching up to the back of the 9 on Michael Warren. So just a lot of trucks on the outside thinking that outside's going to work, or just kind of riding right there. As you also look back a little bit further, it looks as though the 6-time Ryan has made his way back up to the top pack right now. He's up there with the 01 and the 8 as they're still hanging on to that front pack.
Yeah, they are, and but still kind of losing time a little bit. The 01, or no, actually, no, that group is doing okay. The 4 teammates doing well. It's actually behind them. You can see Manger and the what looked like the red truck. You can see, actually, okay, that explains it, because Christian Peterson machine, the 23, is up there, but his 2 teammates are not. You can see the 57 trying to get around Michael Warren, who dropped by to let the leaders go by here, and it all went wrong for the 9 here as he's gone towards the back here and got shuffled out of line. It all went wrong for Michael Warren as he's back in the mid-pack as they're 3 wide. Jamie Walker also getting kicked to the outside and basically sent down the freight train tracks.
I think that's just the case that the 9 and the 88 just didn't want any part of that front pack right now as they're starting to bunch up right now.
Oh, hey, CP.
Oh, they're getting really dicey up in the lead right now as they're going 3 wide once again. The 23 of Christian Peterson's really getting dicey moves up there. And now the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. is being stuck in the sucker hole. But the 57 of Seth the Merchant pushes the 5, Chris Cabot, up to the lead. But now the 2 has help in the middle with the 57 just ahead of him. So really dicey moves being made right here. Still coming down to get 54 to go at the line right here.
Yeah, 54 to go once they cross the start-finish line. And for the moment, it's... You can see Seth riding on the outside. It got very rough there for the moment, and it all happened once the 6-man Inc. guys all started playing in the front, and now Manger are going to go up and push Seth through the middle, and they're going to try and make the line work there, and I think if CP can either get in front or behind these guys, he's going to do the same. Holy cow, they nearly wreck, but he's able to hold on to it. The Peterson group is, well, they're trying to mix things up here, and they've raised the blood pressure of, I think, about everybody on track right now.
I think Christian Peterson forgot that was a teammate for a second. He almost cut off in front of the 57 of Seth the Merchant, so not a lot of room there, but they all got it sorted out. But now on the high side there, Michael Atkins Jr. is getting help from Jeff Ryan on the high side as that high line's finally starting to come in. That 3rd lane's trying to work against the middle lane, who's got the most momentum right now compared to the bottom or very top. That's led by the 54 of Tim Matthews, who's got the 57 of Seth the Merchant behind him. But now, once the 54 pulls down, the 2 teammates now have the middle group. The 57 of Seth the Merchant and 25 of Kyle Manger. Will they be able to do anything with that middle side as they come out turn 2? As though they might, and the 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. might fall in behind them.
Yeah, and it's a huge run for the 57 of Seth the Merchant as they run down the Alabama game back straightaway. And it's looking very good right now for Seth, and now CP is going to join him, so the 3 teammates in the middle, and you got 3 teammates up on the outside, the 10, the 8, the 6. The 01 might go with them here, so could see 2 teams working together, 6-man, and then the I believe that's unacceptable racing, that group with Tommy Ryan and such, but nonetheless, it's going to get a little bit splintered, but drag race to the line. Seth v. Matthews. Tim got him by a nose there at the line for his 9th lead lap of the day, and we'll be able to hold on for the moment, but Seth and Kyle still pushing hard on the outside.
Yeah, that indeed. We also had almost a moment there as we're going past the lap machine of the 98 of Steve Herring. That was almost really dicey as it went 4 wide down the front stretch. And they're still snaking their way down the back stretch right now as the 57 and 25 trying to make a run back on the outside of Tim Matthews and Chris Cabot. So they'll be side by side for those top 4 spots right there. The Michael Atkins Jr. and Jeff Ryan have been glued together for the past few laps. And also I want to point out, ever since the restart, this race has really amped up. We have seen a lot of dicey moves. Trucks are moving left and right. Spots are changing every single lap, so I don't know what happened, but these guys turned the wick up really quickly.
Yeah, they did, and 6-man Inc., I think once they got involved with this lead pack, that's kind of where it all stemmed from. You saw Peterson give a huge boot to the pack earlier on, and since the 23, 57, 25 got up here, they've been playing rough because they want to get to the front here and kind of pull away a little bit. And now they're side by side here, and we've been looking for them to try and calm down a little bit to get our midway race break in, but it just hasn't happened because these guys have been all over the place. And there goes Peterson, got a little bit loose and hit the apron a little bit there, but oh, no contact, just a little bit. 25 gave it to the 6, and the 57 gave it to the 2, but it's getting all kinds of rough out there at the moment.
Yeah, the doors are being used now as the pack still starts to thin out right here. The back half of the pack was the 01, the 8, the 9, and the 10 starting to fall away a little bit. But the front pack, there's still 3x3 right here at the front, the top 7, led by Chris Cabot in the middle. Almost in a perfect formation right here, led by Chris Cabot in the middle as there's all lined up right here. Tim Matthews is trying to get that lead back on the inside, trying to get some help from Christian Peterson on the bottom, but still not able to get to the back bumper right now as Chris Cabot is trying to pick a line of where he wants to go block as he's trying to command this field as they head off into 3, trying to catch up to a lap car right there on the inside. I believe that is, let me call it to the front, that's Ralph Vandervorst. Yeah, Vandervorst, Simley, and Mara.
Yep, 68 and the 22, and this could go 3, maybe 4 wide. No, Matthews just going to have to back out of the throttle. This is going to get kind of sketchy here. Yeah, they are going to go 4, now back to 3 wide. Matthews had to drop in behind Kyle Manger, and now it's going to be Chris Cabot and Seth the Merchant leading here. Seth going to try and shake off the 5 going to block. Manger going to go middle, and Seth wants that lead badly.
Yeah, he's fighting for it real hard. He really wants to get Chris Cabot out of the way. Maybe he can do something with Kyle Manger's teammate behind him to try to get a strategy to move him to the middle or something like that. But yeah, Seth really wants this lead right now, especially with what's going on right now. He wants to get out of the danger. And just looking at the middle right now, look at the run that 54 Tim Matthews has. He might even go on the inside of the 2 right there. Oh, really dicey right there. But now they're 4 wide. The 57, the 54, 2, and 6 are all 4 wide right there as they go through 3 and 4. There's no 54s to clear that pack, but now the 23s that are getting through 4 wide as well as they come up for 4. So a lot of action happening right here as they're trying to sort out these top spots right here.
That was a Chevrolet sandwich with an extra order of Toyota in the middle. It was 2 Chevys with 2 Toyotas in the middle. That got all sorts out of whack there, but they're able to make it through all right, and testament to these drivers and their skill, able to make that work. But through 1 and 2 once again, and Matthews Peterson versus Cabot and DeMerchant here, and you have to think it's almost like Peterson and DeMerchant and Manger are all trying to just pull the strings themselves behind the scenes of this race, and out of nowhere, here come the teammates on the top side, the 68 and the 10 all together. They're trying to make a 3rd lane up there.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan is in that outside lane just ahead of Randy Yoakum and Jeff Ryan. Now, we thought these guys were done when they went to the back, especially on the last restart, but now they found their way back up to the front side. But now they're kind of getting held up on that high side, no momentum up there. But Chris Cabot goes to the outside of the 23, Chris Peterson, and now we're going to go 4 wide almost for that lead right now as the 23 is getting held. Oh, look at, wow, the 5 gets knocked around right there. He's flipping upside down as they come across the finish line.
Caution flag gonna fly, and I can't say I'm terribly surprised. That one we had been waiting for a while, and it breaks out in the middle of your pack, and lots of trucks involved in this one. And we'll take a second look, but yeah, that was, I can't say I'm terribly surprised that happened, to be honest.
Yeah, like we said, we were waiting for that caution since the restart happened, as these guys are really amped up as we look at the replay right now. Just looking back at the replay, still the 5 Chris Woods kind of got knocked up into the outside lane where the 60 Tom Ryan is, and they got hooked really hard in front of the field. That takes out the 8 of Randy Yoakum. The 2 of Michael Atkins Jr. got a piece of it. Don't know how bad his damage is, but another playoff contender just getting a lot of damage right there. So a rough night for those guys. Don't know if the 2 can make it back or not. As he actually body slammed the 22 Matt Mark coming out of the start-finish line. So like I said, a lot of damage from Michael Atkins Jr.
Yeah, we'll ride on board the 2 and see how bad the damage is, and hopefully we'll be able to get that truck repaired and head back out there. But yeah, no, that one had been brewing for a while, and yeah, it's just contact with the 57 there. And yep, across the start finish line, and yeah, absolutely door slammed the trucks to his outside and inside, and big time damage to Michael Atkins Jr. in that 2 truck here. But we said the caution might change up the pit strategy here, and it will do so, because with them coming down at lap number 57, that does put us here, if you take 21, so that'll be 71, and yeah, that should make it so we only have to do 1 stop from here.
Yeah, that indeed they will. So we're at 36 laps to the end once we go back green. Or actually, so they call it road. So I mean, if you cut that in half right there, that's only 18 laps or so on each run. So these guys are automatically in for that one stop to the end if they can only do that strategy. But yeah, so like we said earlier, with the caution coming out at the end right there, the fuel strategy has been changed, and now we're back on to a one stop, and now we're on pit road.
Yep, and Peterson, DeMerchant already left, and then the rest of your field rolling through. Terrell, Formosa, Michael, Ryan, and then Tommy Ryan still on pit road. You see Kyle Manger leaving there, and then still waiting on Tommy Ryan, DJ Beverly, Yoakum, Gillenwater, several other trucks going to get damage repaired here, but I guess the caution flying does give us a chance to run you through your iRacing Midway race break, so we're going to get that all lined up for you here. But early thoughts here, Michael. Still got plenty of racing left to go, but that second stint here definitely gave us a lot more tight racing than before.
Oh, for sure. And I guarantee you, if we see more like racing like this, we are not going to get all these trucks to the end. As it was just so chaotic the last few laps right there. We knew something was going to happen, and as a result, we took out a lot of good trucks right there, especially some playoff contenders. So these guys need to calm down just a little bit on this next run. Still could race each other, but just need to calm down with all the swaying and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of tight battling right here with Tim Matthews, your leader, right now as we're under caution. So yeah, I'd be expecting a lot of good battling here to the end.
Absolutely, but as we've crossed the halfway portion of this race, we take a look at our iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the Cars Tour, the World of Outlaws, USAC, and many more. Tim Matthews currently your leader here at Talladega. Greg Mall sitting second. Third right now is Jamie Walker. Fourth to George Hendricks. Running fifth right now, Seth the Merchant. Sixth to Christian Peterson. Bobby Terrell running seventh. Eighth going to go to Scott Formosa. Ninth to Justin Michael. And rounding out your top 10 going to be Jeff Ryan as a couple trucks coming down pit road.
And the first one down will be the 11th place machine of Kyle Manger, followed by John Jenkins in 12th. Rich Jetty stays on track, so he'll take up those two spots right there. Dwight Beverly followed behind at 14th. Dwayne Dunn 15th. Michael Priester 16th. 17th, Michael Atkins Jr., who is still getting damaged as he's coming down the pit road right now. Michael Warren 18th. Bob Gillenwater 19th. And Randy Yoakum right after top 20 right now.
And 21st as we get everything reset here once the field rolls through. And we reset the results here. Tommy Ryan's running 21st, 22nd to Scott Simley, 23rd. Right now is Chris Cabot, Ralph Vander Voors. First truck, it looks like one lap down. Chris Cabot might be as well. We'll see if we can get that sorted out here. But yeah, looks like Vander Voors is going to be the first truck one lap down. Then, yeah, Chris Cabot, John Wilco, Matt Mara, Steve Herring, Randy Tessar, and Aaron Bennett with the DNS here from Talladega. But that's been a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, you can visit iRacing.com to sign up today. Thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership and use the code PR-GRC for the opportunity to start your career on iRacing with 3 months for only $5. That's promo code PR-GRC for new members only. And the championship continuing, speaking of GRC, for the iRacing Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship going on. Drivers like Mitchell DeYoung as well, Logan Clampett, kind of the two mainstays in that series. We've been watching them battle it all out, and going to be curious to watch that as it unfolds. That one of the many world championships here on iRacing, whether it's the oval, the road course, the endurance racing, or the dirt. Got plenty of racing here on the iRacing side, whether it's leagues or official or what have you. Lots of racing going on all the time.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch these different types of racing, especially when you see different drivers who are able to do all these different types of racing. You already mentioned Logan Clampett. He's your peak Indy Series driver, and now he's going for the GRC Pro Series as well, and he's doing quite well, especially up against the top-level drivers such as Mitchell DeJong in that series. And just being able to see these guys transition between all these different cars really shows the talent these guys have. So being able to see them put on a show is really fun to watch and fun to see.
And since we're continuing to pace here, and light should go out next time by, so a report from the real life side of things going wrong for Kyle Barnes over in Anderson tonight. He had gone out with the Southeast Super Truck division, one of the admins here for several of our LSRTV leagues. Unfortunately, looks like they broke while leading, unfortunately. Took the lead at halfway and had a strong truck until 16 to go. And looks like a broken drive shaft was going to claim that truck. So, you know, the connections to real life starting to happen for us here on LSRTV. Of course, we got the Cars Esport Tour, the official series of the Cars Tour, which will be kicking off. The Cars Tour are going to go back racing this weekend over at Orange County, and that'll be, well, I guess next weekend technically. So that'll be on Pit Row Media, and then of course that'll kick us off on the Esport Tour the following Wednesday. But getting ready to talk about some more real-life side of things involving our very own Gabe Wood, and we're looking forward to announcing that here in the coming weeks. That's going to be a lot of fun going on with that. And then, of course, plenty of other real-life racing things going on. Mike, I think Brandon Cruz Monsivice, he's gotten back from his stint. Gabe already, who helps out on the ARCA side of things, he's been busy and will be going back on tour with that. He was back this weekend for the Outlaw Modified Series, but we'll be going back on tour with them for, I believe, about 3 weeks or so. And then after that, plenty of still real-life racing things going on for us across the LSRTV family.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting our way around. You said it earlier, guys, working with different teams and such. I know you come around a lot of local tracks and go commentate there. I also commentate as well at local kart tracks and stuff like that as well. So here at LSR, we definitely get our way around the real world as we're expanding on the sim racing side as well. So it's always great to see how we are moving into the real world. It's just a staple and stepping stone from our sim racing side.
And of course, Jacob Seelman over at Bristol this weekend, talking with the K&N drivers, with those at Bristol as well for the Cup side and the truck side, and all sorts of racing action going on the real life side of things. So plenty of racing action for us here at LSRTV, whether it's on the sim or in real life. We're all over the place, it seems like right now. So we thank you for joining us though this evening here at Talladega for the USR BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series. And speaking of the BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series, the title sponsor, BNC Lawn and Landscaping, that's Mr. Aaron Bennett. He makes it happen behind the scenes on that one, so we thank them for being a sponsor here and invite you to check them out if you're in the area for lawn care and stuff like that. They're out of Frankfort, Delaware, and you can contact Aaron Bennett at 302-381-6073, and that's BNC Lawn and Landscaping out of the Delaware area, and you can find plenty about them. Talk to Aaron Bennett, and professionally licensed and insured, so plenty of lawn stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think Aaron's going to make I think it would be 7-hour drive out to Indianapolis to help me out, so unfortunately not able to do that for them, but nonetheless, thanks to BNC Lawn and Landscaping for being the continued title sponsor of the USR Truck Series.
Yeah, and to say about that plug as well, couldn't have asked for a better time to do it, considering the spring's rolling around now. I know up in the northern region, up in Delaware, that Boston area over that way, it's getting a lot of snow, but yeah, just that time of the year, spring's rolling around, so they'd definitely be the perfect call for you to get your lawn looking nice and tidy for spring, as we're trying to get the spring cleaning in. So yeah, go ahead and give Aaron Bennett a call. He'll definitely hook you up with a great looking lawn.
And Aaron Bennett, not sure if he's watching with us or what's going on, but nonetheless, gonna be watching here on YouTube at some point, some way, shape, or form. So always awesome to see Bennett around, and has been helping out with the league for a long time. Kind of took over operation from Cody Gibson for a while because Cody had to step away with some real life stuff coming up and everything like that, but still hangs around with us here from time to time at USR. But pace car lights are out, getting ready to restart the race here at Talladega, and as they run, as we mentioned, Greg Mall, Jamie Walker, George Hendricks, Seth the Merchant, Christian Peterson, Bobby Terrell, Scott Formosa, Justin Michael, Jeff Ryan, and Rich Jetty, your top 10 here as we get set to go re-green here from Talladega after what was our biggest wreck of the night so far.
Yeah, that wreck took about 6 or 7 trucks right there, so be interested to see how these damaged trucks are able to hold on to the back half of the field. Will they be able to, or will they be able to stay up at the pack and make a difference as we come down to the closing laps, as we're coming down to start lap 62 at the restart as we're going through the tri-oval right now.
Yeah, through the tri-oval, and Greg Wall going to lead him to the green flag here, and still plenty of racing action, but 33 laps to go here from Talladega. Field in control. We are re-green here from Talladega. Green flags in the air.
And Greg Mall doesn't get off that great of a jump as the 88 Jim Walker does. get the jump on 12, Greg Mall. I don't know if that's just a teammate thing, trying to get him in to line just ahead of Seth the Merchant, but nothing happens there. At the 88, Jim Walker still stuck in that outside lane, so Greg Mall trying to get the run back on the bottom, getting pushed from the 34 George Hendricks and the 23 Christian Peterson as that bottom lane really works its way. Oh, and also can turn right there. Christian Peterson actually turns the 34 George Hendricks, and he's around and inside the back stripes inside wall.
Yeah, Hendricks is going to get turned around. That's on the apron, so no caution. We'll take a second look at it, and yeah, it was just a simple getting up to speed, and Peterson was trying to go a little bit faster than George Hendricks could, was all checked up back there, and just a bumper hook off the nose of the 23, and that'll send Hendricks right around here, but no caution on the infield of the track. That's not going to throw a yellow, and it was only a one-truck incident.
Yeah, it looks like he got that back going again. Silver still looking back up front now. Going back up to your leaders right now. Also, just on the corner of my eye, the 9 of Michael Warren's on the apron right now next to Tim Matthews. I don't know what's going on with that machine, but looks like he's going to get back going again on the apron. But yeah, going back up to the front right now, your leaders, Jim Walker, just ahead of Seth the Merchant, followed by Greg Mall and Bobby Terrell. So it's a whole new looking front five for the most part, with the 14 and Bobby Terrell come up there. Jim Walker, he's been up and down all night, but now he's finally back up to the front. And Seth the Merchant having that early pit road accident is up to second. So a lot of stories are coming to play right here as we're coming to the closing laps of this race.
And it's only 2 of the teammates up there right now, Seth and Peterson. If you're looking for Kyle Manger, he's back in 13th back here with DJ Beverly. So, or Dwight Beverly rather. So they're kind of at the back here for the moment. So we're going to keep an eye on this main pack. And 2 trucks to the outside right now. Bobby Terrell, who we haven't talked as much about here tonight, and Justin Michael as well. Both of those trucks on the outside trying to make something happen. Muscle Milk and 511 clothing out on the outside trying to push. And Michael giving a great push to Terrell here as we come off of turn number 2 yet again.
And that Muscle Milk is flexing his muscles right now as they're getting a great run down the backstretch. He's even going past the 12 Greg Mall, looking for more for second place of the 57 of Seth the Merchant. So he's going to pull alongside Seth for that second spot. But let's go to the bottom of the bring game that momentum once again. Or maybe the 14 might get a good run off the bottom. These guys trying to move into the middle lane, try to get away from the side draft of the inside lane. But now it looks like it's paying off because they got the momentum off turn 4. And now the 14's almost going to get ahead of the 57 as they come across the line to complete lap 64 right here coming across the line. But Jamie Walker still your leader, just had Bobby Terrell. Interesting to see if Jamie Walker can still hold on to that lead right now. He's got all these different storylines behind him. We've got 57 of Seth the Merchant trying to continue with his strong streak. Bobby Terrell trying to keep up with the playoffs. And same thing with Justin Michael trying to rebound after a rough week last week.
And the biggest, I think, upset that we haven't gotten a chance to talk too much about, Tim Matthews was involved in that last incident. He has parked it behind the wall for this evening. And that basically throws him out of the chase right now. Going into next week, he's basically going to have to throw a Hail Mary if he has any hope to move on to the next round of the chase. So that is huge for Tim Matthews, because I don't know if he's going to be able to make that up here.
Yeah, he had a strong night going, and then he just got caught up in that last wreck, but looks as though he's not going to be able to make up that time. But now looking back up front once again for a second, the 87, Justin Michael, actually got the 14 to Bobby Terrell out of the line in front of him, because kind of scooted to the high side. Now Bobby Terrell's falling back to that 6th spot, but now Justin Michael's in that outside lane once again, and now they're trying to fight back compared to the inside of the 88 of Jamie Walker and the 57 of Seth the Merchant. But yeah, like you said, Tim Matthews basically has to go out there, dominate the entire race, and hope everyone else ahead of him that on the cutoff was going to have a horrible night for him to even.
Looks like Matthews is back. He was actually on pit road, so he hadn't pulled it behind the wall. He was just getting damage repaired on that truck. That's why I was a little bit confused as to what was going on, and he just kind of slunk out of our view. But Matthews is back on track here, so he's not out of it, but will definitely need to either have a Hail Mary this race or the next race if he hopes to stay in this chase here. And I do say chase because this is still more of a chase format. We are using more playoffs, but USR is still using the chase name, so that's what we're going to use. So Jamie Walker's still going to try and make his way and try and hold on and get as many points as he can rolling into next week at Kansas. But still side by side right now and down the back straightaway. Michael on the outside with help from Christian Peterson, Terrell, Jeff Ryan, and the 39 to Dwayne Dunn, who we haven't talked much about this evening, but Dunn up there trying to make things happen, sitting in the 10th position right now.
Yeah, Dwayne Dunn sitting up there, as well as the Rich Jetty after having a lot of damage right there. You see, if you look at the back of his quarter panel, he's got a lot of damage there. And the A7 Justin Michael just pulled out a line right there. I don't know if that's by design or not, but he just went to the high side, let everybody go by. So now leading that outside lane will be at 23 of Christian Peterson, who's been up and down in the top 10 ever since the last few restarts. So the A7 Justin Michael just kind of fell back right there. He's now almost at the tail end of this lead pack right here, falling back around to 80 of Scott Formosa, so that's about 11th or 12th spot right there. So I don't know what the strategy is right there from Justin Michael. Maybe he didn't like
Seth! That truck just about got looped around on him. Seth the Merchant that was able to hold on to it. We stay green, and they're going to go around Tim Matthews, but we'll get a second look at that. But that was nearly disastrous for the Merchant there. We'll take a second look at that truck coming off the corner here.
That's one of those things when we look at it, the replay right here, they just all got stacked up together. Those three trucks just all got pushing together. So 57's actually getting loose right now. He's onto the apron right now. Got pushed too hard by the 12 of Greg Mall, so he's still on the apron trying to regather it. He might kill out right here. Looks like he will get it straight and get back up on track. So a good save right there. Two good saves in one lap right there by 57 Seth the Merchant, but it comes at the cost of about 5 or 6 spots right there as he falls back behind Bobby Terrell and Dwayne Dunn to move him back to about 8th or so.
Yeah, we'll watch the second save here. We didn't get a chance to see the first one because the second one happened so quickly. But yeah, you can see the 12 just gets the 57. Seth falls out of line there, able to hold on to it though, and able to re-enter from the apron. Even got a little bit loose trying to do that, but was able to hold on to it there. So for Seth the Merchant, that was a harrowing lap there at Talladega, and is now kind of in the back here. Well, not really in the back. He's running 7th right now, and now going to get to the back end of the 12, and maybe just give him a slight tap here or a quick radio transmission to let him know, hey, I'm still here. So I don't think Seth's going to be terribly happy with Greg Hall right now.
And speaking of that, he's right on the back bumper of the 12 as they're on the inside line. Looking on that outside line as well, the 39 Dwayne Dunn and 93 Rich Jet. The two people we haven't talked about much all night have kind of started to form that outside lane right now. This is just the two of them right now, compared to the 5 trucks on the inside. The inside lane really checked up right there, and Seth even noticed that the 57, so he's going to move up to the middle lane for a second, but the 10 of Jeff Ryan doesn't go with him. He's going to go around him on the outside. Oh yeah, you're right. The pit stops have come down onto right now. The 88 Jamie Walker, the 12 Greg Mall, and the 87 of Justin Michael all coming down pit road this time by. So, like we said, that one-stop strategy as they're going to try and stretch it for 24 laps this time compared to their 22 the first time. Oh yeah, very doable.
And this is the Young Gun group. So this is, you see the 12 of Greg Mall down. You see the 34 of George Hendricks, 68 of Scott Simley, 87 of Justin Michael, 80 of Scott Formosa. Gabo's been on pit road, so he's not really a part of that. And then you got also the 88 of Jamie Walker. There he is. So that group has come down pit road, all teammates. And looking to see what the 6-man Inc. group is going to come down. That'll be Manger, Peterson, DeMerchant, and Moore. Survey says they're going to stay out on track this time at least. So the pack has shrunk down to about 7 cars in this, or 7 trucks rather, in this lead pack. Kyle Manger back to Dwayne Dunn, the 39. So the side-by-side's gone because it's getting ready to be pit stop time for these guys. We're within the pit window to make it on this final stint.
Yeah, like you said, the 3 teammates right up there, 6-man incorporated, Kyle Manger, Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant, they're going to easily be able to get down the pit road and communicate while doing that. But when they pit, will they have other cars pit with them? And they also get the danger of running over other cars. As you can see, the 93 Rich Jet kind of sandwiched between them. Jeff Ryan's also there, Bobby Terrell, the 39 Dwayne Dunn. So if they pit with them as well, there's also the danger of getting run over as well. So treacherous pit road as always, but depending on them, having communication with other drivers is going to be key. Is they're looking towards pit road, maybe? No, everyone still stays on track for one more lap.
I mean, this is going to be a case if we see a caution flag come out, it'll make these guys' lives a whole lot easier. So they're not really losing much by staying out because they still have a fairly big pack with them, about 7 trucks. So there's nothing really hurting them to stay out here and get some extra laps. It's just the only thing is they're going to have to take a little bit more fuel on pit road the longer they stay out. But ultimately, we're only dealing with, milliseconds of a difference here just on how the fuel's delivered to the trucks, and it's probably going to be a gas-only stop if I know these guys. So it's nothing really to risk by staying out and kind of hoping that a caution flies, because if that happens, it's going to make it even easier for these guys, and it'll probably trap some of those guys a lap down who have already pit. So 6 men still going to stay out, along with the 10 and the 93, the 39, and the 14.
Yeah, and that Young Gun Motorsports group has actually gotten back up together right now, led by Justin Michael, Greg Mall, and JB Walker. So they're all three of them have bunched up together, and have got their line going to make sure they don't lose enough time compared to the main pack. As they look back up towards the front, they're still side by side for the lead right now with the 25 Kyle Manger, Seth the Merchant. So that 3-pack is not going to lose that much time compared to leaders, as they're almost running near time. So it's just a matter of how much will the pit stops of this front pack affect them compared to the Young Gun Motorsports group.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been an interesting case because we've seen some desperation out of the 3 6-man Inc. drivers to stay together, which, like, normally I wouldn't have an issue with if we were dealing with a massive pack, but even here, Seth the Merchant trying to get to the front of the pack here, and he's nearly going to get hooked by the 10, and this all comes down to what I've been thinking, which is, I don't think you need to necessarily be at the front of the pack like these guys are like dying to be right now. I mean, as long as you're roughly in the same kind of area, I don't think it would be that desperate to stay together, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. But at the same time, ever since they got to the front, that team right there has just been been dicey up at the front. We've seen a lot of moves earlier, like when that wreck happened with Chris Cabot and Randy Yoakum, that group. So they were up there as well, and they were making a lot of dicey moves. That kind of maybe insinuated that as well. But right now, there's only like 5 or 6 cars up in this front pack, so there's no real motive to be trying to make all these dicey moves to stay up at the front. So at this point, it's just trying to ride it out till you get to that pit stop, and they still go around for one more time as they're coming around again this time by. So they're really running the tank dry, trying to get as much as they can of it. Maybe they're trying to short fuel it for this last stop, so they don't want to take what they need to make it to the end, to have lighter fuel tank at the end and have a less pit stop time.
Yeah, I agree, and I just find it odd that Seth has been very desperate, at least in the last couple laps, to get to the front of the line here, and it's just, like, I know these guys well enough to know that they don't have to push like this because we still have a pit stop. It makes sense to control the lines, you know, if we're at the beginning of a fuel run or if we're at the beginning of the final run and you're just trying to control the lines like that, but I just don't think it's necessary this, you know, when we still have this much racing left to go and we still are waiting on a pit stop.
Yeah, and I have to go around one more time again on lap 76. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they want Seth in the front just so when they come down, they're all lined up like that. But at the same time, you can also go for the fact that they can go easily just go to the back behind the 10 of Jeff Bryan, the 93 of Rich Jetty, and fall back away and have a space to get on the pit road again. As the 57's kind of scrolling around on the outside right there. Don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it's just odd the way that they're trying to be aggressive right now. I don't know if they're just trying to make their statement, trying to say that they're trying to stay at the front. There's a 23 peak slow to get air on the nose right there. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a matter of time before they have to pit. So it'd be interesting to see how their aggressive strategy will pay off at the end.
And not to mention the 57 just keeps getting jacked up by the 10 as well, and just has not been, that truck hasn't looked very comfortable the last couple of laps here. So I just have to wonder, you know, the desperation, what's it for out of Seth? Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him after the race, because I'm curious what the game plan for these guys is. But nonetheless, come to complete lap number 77, on to lap number 78, and I'm starting to buy the short fill strategy. We're on to what is, for most of these drivers, either their 21st or 20th lap on this stint. Remember, they came down pit road towards the end of the last caution here to get top off the trucks just a little bit here. So they're getting to the point where they will have to come down to pit road probably in about 2 to 3 laps time. And if they've been waiting on a caution, it's probably not going to fly. And if it does fly, I'm more worried about it being the 57 and the 10 than it is anybody in the back.
Yeah, and even though they're still staying out, the one thing that's working for them is they're still pulling time back to the Young Gun Motorsports group. Says that they actually, that lap they gained time on the leaders. But yeah, the 6-man Inc. and this whole front pack right here with Rich Jetty, Bobby Terrell, Dwayne Dunn, they've been pulling on that group for a long time now. But that last lap they made up a lot of time on them. So that's the one thing that's going for them right now. Just trying to stay out, run out, and have that short pit stop at the end. So that maybe that works out at the end. I'll be still interested to see how that translates to a gap once they come out of pit road. As the 57 trying to look for that inside spot just behind the 93, but the 10 of Jeff Bryan's going to push the 57 Seth the Merchant back up to the outside lane once again.
And continue. They're only really going to be able to stay out there for another 2 laps, 2 to 3 laps. That's as long as they'll be able to stay out there. So expecting to see these trucks come down pit road here fairly shortly, and some drivers faking, and not this time, but probably next time by, we're going to see everybody hit pit road. So going to come to complete lap number 79 and on to lap number 80 here. So 15 laps to go, and at this point, these guys, you know, lap 23 of the stint, and it's got to be running dry at this point.
Yeah, and if they're not careful, they miscalculated, they might not even get that lap right there. But also right there, look in front, the 57 and 10 are going at it right now. The 10 kind of shoved the 57 wide a little bit there, got him squirrely on the exit of 2, and that kind of got the field shuffled up for a second, and the 57 was not happy with that. But now the 10's going to follow in behind the 57 on the outside lane, maybe lose a spot to Bobby Terrell. So once again, just tense moments up in the front, as there's only a few cars up in the front pack right now.
It just seems unnecessary, Michael. I mean, you know, maybe I'm just too passive a driver when it comes to me in real life, or not in real life, but on the sim when I actually do get a chance to drive every once in a blue moon. It just seems so unnecessary right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the fact that the 57 doesn't want the 10 pushing him, maybe he wants to get back in line or not.
But he could easily just jump to the high side and let him pass. So,
yeah,
and Seth would be able to get to the bottom side and get back up to that pack, maybe with help from Simley or something. So if it's that, then Seth could easily remedy that, and he's just not. So I don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue, but the 10, oh my God, the 10 almost turned the 57 right there as they went off into 3. They're getting really chippy on those outside lane right there. The 10 and 57 are trying to go at it right now. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, jeez.
They're still going at it right now. They're getting really chippy right there in that outside lane. Before long, oh, if it's there he goes. There he goes.
No,
oh, wow. What a save by Seth the Merchant right there. She got doored by the 93 Rich Jet on accident. So, wow.
On the day's work for Seth the Merchant, but that was new driver suit material of bad, and that's going to shuffle him back to this pack here, and right as it's about pit stop time. But I said it was pointless, and it nearly cost Seth the Merchant his race truck. So, I mean, once again, no really reason for it, apart from the 10 just absolutely shoving the spoiler off on the 57. But now you have to ask, Seth the Merchant, it might have been they might have waited a little bit too long to finally make the decision to go single file, because everybody going to hit pit road this time. Well, half that pack or so, and everybody looking good. Seth's going to lock it up, but he's going to be okay. Yeah, no, this is finally they hit pit road, and yeah, Seth will stay with his teammates as well. Terrell and the 10 of Jeff Ryan coming down with him. I'm not sure of Seth's mindset with the 10 truck, because I guess they're going to continue to work together. So, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy is there, but the 57 is definitely fuming. I honestly thought he was going to come wrecking on the pit road again. The way he came down there, he almost ran over his own teammate, the 23 Christian Peterson. But looks as though these guys are only taking fuel only as they come from the 8. Vigneault comes in a spin right in front of the 57 and 23. 23 actually got into the 8 and turned him in front of the field right there. And the 57 almost turned the 23 coming off pit road. So a lot of chaos coming off pit road for your leaders.
And I wasn't even expecting that at all, as they'll come off pit road, and we're going to see just to the outside all those antics to try and break away from the Young Gun Motorsports. Yep, there they go. So it didn't matter. The 87, 88, and 12 are going to be able to stay in front of the 6-man Inc. guys, and it's going to have to be a case of who's going to be faster. But now we're going to get a chance to go back and find out what on earth happened coming off pit road, because I'm not really sure. And going to wind the cameras back here. And, yep, there goes the 8, and Yoakum just got way too aggressive coming off pit road and spins right in front of these guys.
Yeah, he was trying to get really aggressive, trying to get back on the track for spinning those tires, trying to get as many spots as he can. He just got turned across the nose of the 23 Christian Peterson. Peterson had nowhere to go as the 8 crossed his nose. But, yeah, that kind of according back to 57, almost hitting him as well coming off pit road. So a lot of chaos right there for your leaders as they came off pit road.
Yep, and as it stands, Seth, Christian, Kyle, they're going to be 7th, 8th, and 9th. Nowhere near where they want to be. Bobby Terrell's out in no man's land right now. They're going to go by Dwayne Dunn here, most likely, and that'll move them up 1 spot each. But your leaders right now are the 3 trucks of the Young Gun Motorsports camp of Justin Michael, Jamie Walker, and Greg Mullen. All we can say for Justin Michael is the mission has gone absolutely to plan here, Michael, because this is exactly where he needs to be.
And all that fighting did on the last before the 6-man group did pit was help the Young Gun Motorsports group, as now they've got a commanding lead. I believe it's almost 4.5 seconds or so back to that group. So yeah, everything worked out for Justin Michael, Jamie Walker, and Greg Mall as they come across the finish line. Now the official gap is now 4 seconds back to that group. But now Rich Jett's going to split the both of them. And now the only thing that can really work for Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant, and Cal Manger is now they got the 14 to Bobby Terrell and the 93 Rich Jett's falling back to them, as well as lap trucks coming off pit road as well. So if they can get enough trucks and maybe they have enough time as they're coming down to get 9 to go next time by, they may have enough time to close up 4 seconds. But it's still looking really tough.
Oh, this is going to be weird. Oh, they're going to split them. Oh, that got bad. That was wrong time, wrong place for Atkins Jr. and Bob Gillenwater. That was nearly an issue, but the desperation on hand for the 6-man Inc. guy is already on display. And Bobby Terrell at this point, bud, you're just along for the ride as we're going to come to get 9 to go. The leader's already taken it. And if you're Rich Jetty, like you said, some of these lap trucks probably going to be able to help these guys out. The 64 Priester, for example, you see he's going to jump to the high side, but maybe tag on to the end of it. Rich Jetty going to head up high, and for Manger, it's going to be as high as 4th, but they've got to get absolutely moving here if they hope they can catch the leader in time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if these guys will tag onto the back. It looks like the 93 is going to file in behind the 23 of Christian Peterson. And it all depends on if they're able to hold on to that group. Will 23 actually back up and let the 93 catch the group? That's the question.
They have to.
Oh, yeah, in this case they have to, because if they get 5 cars compared to 3, they'll be booking it compared to them. I believe at least a half-second lap almost compared to the leaders. But yeah, it looks as though 93 of Rich Jett is not going to be able to hold on as Michael Priester left him behind.
Yeah, and yeah, Jetty's dropped off, and it's going to maintain 4 trucks, so they got to hope they can close the gap here. We'll take a look. We'll ride on board with Manger for a lap here and see if we can see the gap shrink a little bit. And it's a tall order here for Manger, and you can see way out in front. It's 4.5 seconds, Guerrilla. I just thinking, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so, especially with looking at the back here. Now Bobby Terrell's looking at the outside of the 25 and 57 as Christian Peterson pushes the 14 Bobby Terrell on the outside. So I think these guys, I don't know what they're doing now, but definitely this side-by-side right here might be throwing this race win away.
I think at this point the race win might have left as soon as they came off pit road and realized that this thing was over for them, so they could just be racing for spots amongst themselves right now. Bobby Terrell kind of the outlier in this. He's not a teammate to those other 3, so he's going to be in kind of danger mode here to get left behind by the rest of the teammates. But the 3 teammates leading right now, they played it perfectly. And honestly, I think they're going to be content to just let Michael go out and win this thing. He needs most of the points here in this situation, and Jamie's already sitting fairly good coming into tonight in terms of point standings, and he's sitting 4th, only 3 points back to the leader, Seth. So yeah, I think they're going to be content to just let Michael sit here and win this thing. Maul's not in the championship hunt, so between Jamie and Michael here, I think this is exactly what they want.
Yeah, you could not have asked for a better strategy from these guys. And Justin Michael has the commanding lead right now ahead of his teammates, and looks as though they're just on cruise control to the end. So yeah, what we talked earlier about how Justin Michael had a rough Dover and just had an awful time with it, but now he's leading this race and looks like he might get the win as long as his teammates cooperate with him to the end as we're coming down to get 5 to go this time by. So yeah, it's a big night here for Justin Michael potentially as he can hold on for his last 5 laps.
One of the team groups that did not fare well was the Ryan and Yoakum show. You can see Tommy Ryan down on the bottom side. That truck's crabbing a little bit. Big time issues for him. Big time issues as well for Yoakum, who goes another lap down there. And finally, it looks like the 6-man group have 5 trucks together, but that gap is now 5.5 seconds, so it just goes further and further out the window. It would have to be over a second a lap if they had even a chance to catch Walker, let alone, you know, Michael before the end of this race. So it's basically out the window at this point. 5 laps to go in the race. And there's the 62 of Wilco. There's 64 of Priester. 91 looking for, this is the next pack here, Dwayne Dunn, and then you got Bob Gillenwater a lap down, and there's Simley and Formosa, those 2 actually going to go by and pick up a couple positions there. So Simley, who's been kind of quiet all night, one of the drivers here who still on the outside, no he isn't, he is in the chase, and sitting third coming into tonight. So Simley, once again, the MO of the 68, once again coming to fruition. We don't talk about him, but he just gets the job done and doing exactly that, sitting ninth right now. Not the greatest point stay in the world, but it's way better than Tim Matthews, I'll say that much.
Yeah, it may not be spectacular for Scott Simley, just riding around that 10th and 9th spot right there. But yeah, whatever gets the job done at this point, he'll still have a comfortable gap back to the cutoff line as we head towards Kansas next week if he continues to ride out in that 8th and 9th spot. So yeah, barring any issues right there, Scott Simley's going to come away with a decent point stay and be able to hold on to that spot and have a comfortable step and put that foot forward towards the next round almost as they're going towards Kansas. But yeah, just keeping an eye on the two gaps between the two groups up here in the front. The Young Guns have pulled out 2 seconds since the pit stops compared to 6 man, so you could definitely say this race is over, and unless a caution comes out, a freak caution comes out. But even then, the iRacing system, we would actually end the race under that. So yeah,
it's over.
Pretty much there's no way they can come back to get this win.
So with that, we're going to kind of wrap up some of the storylines that we followed throughout the race. And one of the storylines we talked about coming into tonight was, and we just mentioned, was Tim Matthews, the 54. It turned out it was actually connection issues for him, and that's why we didn't see it. The 54 received a throughput fall and fell out of the sim. So unfortunately for him, nothing he could have done, and fell behind here. So a horrendous point stay for Tim Matthews, who needed a very good point stay. He's not going to get it here this evening. So the 54 absolutely out on hot water and is going to need a miracle come Kansas.
Yeah, and Kansas is one of those tracks where you have to be dominant to be able to even have a chance to contend for a win there. So he has to put on a very, very strong performance at Kansas if he wants to have any shot of even getting close to the cutoff line, as he's also coming around with, I believe that's also Michael Eckes Jr. at the bottom of that group as well, who also had a rough night. He's also got Tim Matthews down, sorry, that's Tim Matthews himself, but everyone else around him has been kind of successful right now. Look at Justin Michael, who's just ahead of him. He's going to almost potentially win the race. Formosa is kind of hanging around for a whole hum kind of day. But so yeah, Tim Matthews is going to have a lot of work to do. It's going to be him and Michael Eckes who we're going to have to fight back next week at Kansas.
Yeah, absolutely, and it may be out of reach. We're not sure yet, but we won't get a look at that until the points come out later on, probably Sunday night. So white flag going to be airing this time for Justin Michael. Final storyline, I did want to wrap up before the end of it. We saw it a little bit, but the 6 of Tommy Ryan running into issues. His whole team is kind of fractured at this point. The 6 and the 01 together, they're on pit road, so that kind of tells you how their night went. And the 8, not much better. Yeah, no, the 8, not a good day either for him, as white flag is in the air for these drivers. But yeah, absolutely a horrendous day for that team as well. Jeff Ryan running 12th though, so probably the one bright spot out of that team as the leaders head into turn 3 and 4, and the day, Michael, it belongs to Young Gun Motorsports.
Yeah, and you talk about sticking to your guns right there. They played their strategy right. They stuck to what their plan was, and as you see right here, as they're coming out of 4 for the final time here at Talladega Superspeedway, Justin Michael is going to come down through the travel, come towards the finish line, and he will pick up his win tonight at Talladega and actually give him a lot of chance to get into the next round of the playoffs, just ahead of Greg Ball and Jamie Walker.
Justin Michael victorious, but it's a team victory for Young Gun Motorsports. They'll win it here at Talladega in fantastic and dominating fashion. Led 18 laps, and it was that last stint that put it on the board for Justin Michael, and we'll have him leaving Talladega with hope as we go into the last round of this round of the chase, which will wrap up at Kansas. But the 87, the 511 Tactical Series, Chevrolet Silverado going to go celebrate on the front stretch here. A fantastic job by that whole team of Young Gun Motorsports to get the 87 out front and for a win that he absolutely needed. But with that, we're going to run you through your full race results here from Talladega.
Of course, we already documented your winner. It's going to be Justin Michael in the 87 machine, getting his chance back in the playoffs as they're coming around to celebrate right now with the whole team. Finishing 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Greg Mall and Jamie Walker are going to be the teammates in 2nd and 3rd. Kyle Manger is going to be 1st and 6th man in the group, going to be finished 4th. Seth DeMerchant 5th. Christian Peterson 6th. Rich Jetty had a comeback night, has been starting 22nd, with a comeback to 7th. Dwayne Dunn kind of hung around there for that 8th place. Scott Simley, we talked about him having kind of a whole hum kind of night, but he's going to hold off for a solid points night, 9th. And Scott Formosa to come home in 10th.
Yeah, and then 11th going to go to Bobby Terrells. The results screen finally pops up. 12th going to go to Jeff Ryan. 13th to Michael Priester. 14th to John Jenkins. 15th to Michael Warren. 16th going to go to Michael Atkins Jr. 17th to Bob Gillenwater. 18th to Ralph Vandervoorst. 19th to John Wilco. And Randy Yoakum rounds out your top 20.
Looking down the rest of your field, George Hendricks saw him get turned late at the late stages of the race to get a finish 21st, 2 laps down. Tim Matthews struggled tonight after he loses the connection to the server, and now he's falling back to 22nd, 3 laps down. Steve Herring's going to be 23rd. Tommy Ryan's going to be 24th. Dwight Beverly, 25th. Chris Cabot, 26th. Matt Marr, 27th, and Randy Tetzer riding out the field in 28th of those who took a lap, and Aaron Bennett did not even take a lap, did not start. So that is your field for tonight's Talladega 250.
Yeah, it is, and we're going to take a moment to step aside here on LSRTV, get a chance to hear from the drivers. We'll be right back here on LSRTV, your home for sim racing and iRacing Live.
I actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, 3 wide action on a turn 2. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Garrett Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the cars. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV, and it may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Back live here at Talladega as we begin the LSRTV post-race show for the United Sim Racing B&C Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series here from Talladega. And it was Justin Michael and Young Gun Motorsports who win the day and are victorious here in Alabama. And we'll get a chance to talk to our winners here. And first things first, we're going to talk to the guy in victory lane right now. It's Justin Michael. We'll get a chance to catch up with him now as we head down to victory lane. Champagne, confetti everywhere. And Justin Michael, you came into tonight basically on the outside looking in. You were one of the last guys outside the chase. You needed a win tonight, and you got it.
Yeah, it was a good win. We started in the back, had some really good pit strategy there at the end to pull off the win, and have some great teammates to help out, Greg, Jamie, and I hate what happened to George there, with however many laps to go, and Aaron was unfortunately he couldn't make it, but all the Young Gun Motorsports guys did well tonight.
Absolutely. So a new lease on life for you going into Kansas. You're still going to be in the case where you're going to get a bunch of points here, but probably still going to be kind of on that bubble a little bit. Is it going to be play it safe mode when you get to Kansas, or are you still going to try and be aggressive and go after that win?
Well, unfortunately, we won't be there. So I know we had a bad race there at the first race of this segment, and Tonight was pretty much going to be a wreckers or win it all, and just to see if I have enough points for missing next week. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So some people need to have some bad luck for us to go.
So unfortunately, still going to be in the hands of the rest of the drivers you're going to be racing, but at least here at Talladega, you get the checkered flag here. Sponsors, shout-outs, who gets it done for you and the team?
Yeah, just thank the guys at 511 Tactical, AR15.com, NRA. Definitely hope everybody out there joins the NRA. But and thanks everybody for watching. You guys for putting on a good show.
That's Justin Michael gets the victory here from Talladega. We won't see you in Kansas, but hopefully things go well for you there, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at that point.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
That's Justin Michael gets the victory here from Talladega, and we'll pass the mic down because we're going to talk to the teammates here. We're going to do a little bit of a group interview between Maul and Walker, and catching up with them is Michael Guerrilla.
Yeah, and now coming down to your second and third place finishers, Greg Malt and Jamie Walker. Now, guys, once you guys played that strategy with your final pit stop and you guys saw that six-man group was still staying out there, what was going through your mind right there as you guys were kind of riding around by yourself, seeing that they were still staying out lap after lap?
I think the main thing was just trying to maintain pace more than anything. We know that the three of us probably weren't making as fast as pace as we could have if we had maybe another truck or two, but just trying to catch every draft pack that we were passing as we could and just trying to maintain that momentum, I think, was the main thing. And then I think once we got back green there on that final restart, I think it was just more of a fact of just trying to get back to our fuel window to where we could make it on one more stop.
And that indeed, you guys were able to do that as well. But coming to Jamie right now, we saw you guys earlier today in the race, seeing you go to the high side of that third lane, try to get that lane moving as well. You weren't having much luck up there. Talk about how hard it was to get that third lane going. I know you had a lot of cars try to go up there, like one or two cars, but nothing was going up there.
Yeah, I was just testing the waters, seeing what my truck was capable of. I was able to do it there, with two wide, just pushing a single truck. But, that third lane, it'd come and go. So, I was having fun, but I was just testing the waters, see if, I needed to push, I could go somewhere with it.
All right, and I also got to ask both of you guys, just when that wreck happened with Chris Cabell coming down to the travel, what was going through your mind right there as you guys saw that wreck happen right in front of you?
You go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, close your eyes and pray to God that you make it through, right?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of smoke there just in front of us, and I think Jamie was just in front of me at that point. So it was just a matter of, we were, I've been run over on plate races so many times, and it was just, you're so, your instinct is to just slam on the brakes, but then again, you just try and swerve around that as best you can, try not to get collected in it, and so I think all four of us Young Gun Motorsports trucks were able to make it through that that mess on the front stretch without too much damage there. So I was pretty thankful for that.
Hey, you guys missed the wreck, played the stretch right, and we're able to come home 1, 2, 3 tonight. So for you two, any sponsors, shout-outs, anybody who gets it done for you, want to go? Here's the spotlight.
Just got to thank the guys at Young Guns Motorsports. I know that we swept the podium here, doing 1, 2, 3. I think this is the first plate race that we've done this sweep the podium, but yeah, we definitely tried to put some practice in just before the race and tried to get our pit strategy to work out just fine, and the lines mostly ended up lining up perfectly together. George had a little bit of misfortune there on the restart, but for the other three of us, we were able to just kind of do a flawless pit stop there on the last run and was able to just maintain the momentum and get to a pretty comfortable gap there from fourth on back. So
yeah, I'd also like to thank the Mountain Dew guys, of course, everybody on Young Guys. We did an awesome job tonight. Congrats to Justin on the win. Couldn't have done it without you, buddy.
All right, and that is your second and third place finishers from Young Gun Motorsports after 1, 2, 3 finish for their team. Greg Mall and Jamie Walker come up second and third.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and thanks guys, and we're gonna catch one more interview here before the end of it, and we're gonna catch up with, since we had the group interview with one of the teams, we're gonna find out what was going on the other side of things with Seth the Merchant. And Seth, it wasn't the finish you were looking for, but I think the thing that we're all scratching our heads at is before the final pit stop there, it was I'll say some shenanigans were going on, but what was the game plan for you guys there, staying out?
Just trying to build a gap over Justin and Jamie and all them. Saw that they pitted early, and we were just trying to get on a different strategy. And I think it would have worked out. But yeah, I don't know. Just really aggressive bump drafting. Jeff was pushing me really hard in the corners, and it was just getting me loose all over the track. And trying to get him off my bumper, but luckily we didn't wreck. And then just, I don't know, we had contact coming out of the pits after our pit stop, and it put us far enough behind that we really couldn't catch back up to Justin and them.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't the finish you were looking for, but still a decent points day for you. We're heading into Kansas next week, and what's the game plan going to be for you going out there?
Just get a top 5 finish in advance, hopefully win.
All right, well, it's nice and simple goals for Seth the Merchant, but sponsors, shout-outs, who gets it done for you?
Just the guys at 6-Man Race Cars tonight, Christian Peterson and Kyle Menger, and Peterson Irrigation for me on the truck, Jeremy Adams, John Lyday, Anthony Akello, all the guys that were spotting tonight, and yeah.
All right, well, that's Seth the Merchant from the 6-Man Inc. group, and we'll see you next week there, Seth.
Thank you.
That'll do it for us here from Talladega. And final thoughts here, Michael. It was a very all-over-the-place kind of race here. Saw lots of stuff going on, and at the end of the day, it works out for the Young Gun Motorsports guys, and they're able to walk home happy from Talladega.
Yeah, and after a quiet start to the race right there, we also had the very chaotic middle race right there, as well as we also had the big wreck with Chris Cabot, taking out a lot of good trucks right there after the trial. And then after that, a lot of strategy and waiting around kind of came into play, and that's how the Young Gun Motorsports got into the top 3 spots right there with Justin Michael, Greg Mall, Gene Walker, and that's kind of where they beat 6-Man with Kyle Menger and Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson. So strategy was king tonight, and the Young Gun Motorsports group were able to play it to perfection. That's what got them that finish.
Well, that'll do it for us here from the fastest racetrack in NASCAR, and still plenty of racing action coming up next week here on LSRTV. Tomorrow night, the American Pool Supply Truck Series is going to take action at Bristol, and then we'll stay at the 43 Cars in a Blender or the Last Great Coliseum, whatever you want to call it, because we're going there with the Full Throttle RSR Cup Series presented by English Auto LLC, as they'll be back in action Monday night at 9:35, and then Wednesday night, of course, going to get things kicked off with the CEA Dirt Series at Langley Speedway. Looking forward to that one. Some more multi-class action, and of course that basically being the dirt version of the Myrtle Beach Speedway Simulation Series. Kind of similar idea there, going to be at Langley. And then of course Friday night back at Super Speedway Cup, and then Saturday night right back here for the double header as per usual here on LSRTV. If you want to see our full broadcast schedule or more info on what's to come, you can visit us at www.livesimracing.com. But for everybody behind the scenes, for Aaron Bennett and United Sim Racing and BNC London Landscaping, and behind the scenes at LSRTV, Evan Pisoko, DJ Lyon, and Laura Lawson, and everybody who makes it happen. For the broadcast crew tonight, for myself, Cisco Scaramuza, Michael Guerrilla, and the stagnant Austin Coop client that's been in TeamSpeak with us tonight, we bid you good evening from Talladega, and we'll see you around the turn. Good night.